Welcome back, you amazing people. Yesterday we talked about using a number line to compare fraction decimals and percents. And today we're going to talk about using a number line to order fraction decimals and percents. So say I have 7/8, 60%, and 55/100. And I'm asked to put them in ascending order. So remember, when we ascend, we're going up, right? So that's least to greatest. Well, I'm going to use my number line to kind of estimate where I think the numbers should really fall and to see if that will help me without having to do all of the long division and the conversions and things like that, right? So let's look at our three numbers and see if we can analyze where we think they would go. Well, if I have 7/8 of a pizza, I'm a happy girl. I have a lot of pizza, which means I'm pretty close to one whole pizza. So I'm going to kind of put 7/8 super close to that one whole, right? I'm one slice away from having a whole pizza. Well, 60%, okay, I know it's more than 50%, right? Which is this middle marker, 0.5, 5/10, or 1/2. Or 50/100, right? Is that all that middle line? So I know 60% is more than 50%. So I'm going to put my 60% kind of here, right? 60%, close-ish, but not too close. And then I have 55/100. Well, if this is 50/100, I know that 55/100 would be definitely closer than that. So I'm going to put that there. And I can check that 60%, right? If I moved my decimal 2 spaces, is 0.60. So I think I have it really good at that point right there. So if I'm ascending, remember when I'm ascending, I'm going least to greatest. So I can really read this from left to right. And you're always going to put the numbers in their original form when you order them. So I'm going to start with the smallest. I'm going to kind of erase the ones that I added over here, my markers, right? So I'm going to start with my smallest, which is closest to the 50%, which is that 55/100. So I'm going to say 55/100 is less than, and I'm just going to move towards the right to get to my bigger numbers, is less than 60%. And then I'm going to move again, which is less than 7/8, right? My biggest number closest to that one whole would be at the end for this example. So boom, just like that. You use the number lines to kind of estimate where you think the numbers will fall using those markers. All right, let's do another one. But this time, instead of ascending, we're going to descend. Remember, when I descend, I'm going down. So that is greatest to least, right? Descent. So let's say I have the numbers 1/4, 0.4%, or 4/10%, and then 40%, right? We'll do 2% this time. All right, so let's look at these numbers. So 1/4, 1/4, 1/4 of something, right? If I have a quarter, that's worth 25 cents, right? That's one of the ones that you'll just kind of memorize. Well, 25 cents is half of 50 cents, right? So here would be 50 cents, my marker. 25 cents would just be right in the middle of those two numbers. So boom, just right there, I have my 1/4. Well, if I look at 0.4%, 0.4% means you have less than 1% chance for something to happen. So if your mom's like, we have a 4%, we have a 4/10% chance of going to the store, which means you have less than 1% chance, you are not going to the store. A decimal percent like that is teeny, teeny, tiny. So 0.4% is super duper close to 0. Basically, you're not going to the store. Sorry to break it to you. So 0.4%, teeny, teeny, tiny number. Well, 40%, if I have a 40% chance of going to the store, it's not more than half, right? So it's still going to be less than that middle marker of 5 or 5/10 or 50/100, sorry. But it's at least higher than 25%. It's definitely higher than 0.4%. So I'm going to estimate that it's right about here, 40%, right? And I love the placement of these estimations. So when I put the numbers in descending order, I'm going to look for the biggest of these numbers. So I'm going to look for the one that's the most right. Remember, as we're going right, we're getting bigger. As we go left, we're getting smaller. So I could say that 40% is greater than, then I hop to the next one, 1/4, right? That was that quarter, 1/4 of something, which is greater than my teeny tiny percentage of 0.4% or 0.4%, if I'm saying this correctly, right? So here are some examples of how we can use those number lines. But what if the numbers are bigger than 1? So let's look down here at these numbers that are really bigger than 1. I have 1 in 235 thousandths, 125%, and then 12 tenths. So I need to figure out where these would fall between 1 and 2 now, since all of these are over one whole thing. With these, because they're all pretty similar, right? This is 235. I have 125%, 12 over 10. I'm going to have to do some conversions. If I do 12 divided by 10, well, let's look to see what this number would be. If I have 12, I could give you one group of 10, right? Decimal goes to the top. 1 times 10 is 10. 12 minus 10 is 2, and I bring down that 0. 10 goes into 20. I can make 2 groups of 10, right? 2 times 10 is 20, and then I'm done. So 12 tenths is 1 and 2 tenths, right? I could have taken out a group of 10, and then I have 2 out of 10 left over. I could have done that a little more mental math than I did. So here, I'm going to take my 125%, and remember that Dr. Pepper, I have a percent, I want a decimal, I'm going to go to the left, Beyonce style, 1, 2, so this is 1.25, right, or 1 and 25 hundredths. So I have all those decimals, and they're all pretty close in nature. So I'm going to line them up over here. 0.25, and then 1 and 2 tenths. And then since this one goes to the thousandths, I'm going to put them all to the thousandths place. Well, if I have my number line here, all of these numbers are going to fall between 1 and 1.5, right? Because they're all in that kind of 1.2 range. So if I look at these numbers, and I'm just looking at the decimal, I have 235, 250, and then 200. Well, 200 of those numbers is definitely the smallest. So I'm going to put my 12 tenths somewhere about right here. And super close to it, only 35, kind of teeny tiny more steps, I have my 1.235. And right in between that 1 and 1/2, I have 1 1/4 at 125%. Right? So now I can place these in ascending or descending order because I have them all correctly on my number line. So let's place them in ascending order. So let's go least to greatest. Well, remember, least, you're starting at the most left. So that's that 12 tenths is less than my 1 and 235 thousandths. And then that's less than 125%. So I had to do a little more math on that one since those numbers are really close to each other, but I could use my strategies and make it happen. So remember, use those number lines to help you put those fractions, decimals, and percents in order. Let me know if you have any questions. Love you. Bye.